Alhamdulillah, it is that time again. Increase our worship and plead for forgiveness. Alhamdulillah, it is that time again. Increase our worship and plead for
Need inspiration? Need to brush up on the do's and don'ts during this blessed month? Join us for Sunnahfollowers Ramadan Prep and allow Ustada Laila Nasheeba to walk you through day by day through this blessed month of Ramadan. This will keep your iman tight, your ibadah right, and keep you pushing in the light. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers.
Wassalamu wa Rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our first of the series of the Ramadan Prep. Just to let everybody know, inshallah, next week this time, we will be fasting the month of Ramadan. And inshallah, I'm going to be here, Allah willing, to walk you through each day, day by day. So I strongly encourage you to keep yourselves glued to your cell phone, and instead of wasting your time listening and watching TikTok videos of nonsense or listening to brothers debate and fight with each other and kafirs on the internet, tune in to Sunnahfollowers, because I'll, inshallah, walk you through each day, reminding you of what the virtues of fasting are, why we fast, what breaks the fast, how you should be spending the time fasting, and all of that. And before I get into my topic tonight, because tonight I like to speak about the virtues of the month of Ramadan. But before I do, I want to reiterate a fact that I try to stress every year. Every year we have these fanatical Muslims. You know that you should not be fasting. Your doctor has told you that fasting is not recommended for you. You're too sickly. You're too old. Or you have some issues. Alhamdulillah, Allah has not imposed fasting on people who are sick. This is a concession from Allah. If you do not have to fast because you are exempt due to your health, I want you women to understand it's haram. Maybe this will put the fear of Allah in your heart. It's haram. It is forbidden for you to fast. If fasting is going to jeopardize your life, make your sickness worse, cause you to have a stroke, a heart attack, cause you to become chemically imbalanced. That's for the schizophrenia women out there. I got a lot of women here who are schizophrenic. You're chemically imbalanced. Fasting triggers the metabolism in a way that will take your chemical balance off. And then your medicine's not gonna work. You're gonna go crazy. So you people should not even attempt to fast. It's haram if you do. Is that clear? Because every year I go through this with you elderly women. And I don't understand why you elderly women can't get it through your head. You had a heart attack. You have heart issues. You suffer with strokes. You're messed up physically. So why would you even think to do that to yourself? You pay the ransom. You pay the ransom. And your ransom is your fast. And we talk about that every year. Your ransom is the fast. You're not missing out on any blessings. You're not missing out on any rewards. You're getting the same reward as that woman over there who is fasting by paying your ransom. But you're not getting rewards at all from Allah. At all from Allah. At all from Allah. You're just killing yourself. If you're fasting when you know you're not supposed to, because your body can't handle it. I hope this is clear. Now, for the pregnant women, Allah is so just. It's hard for a woman to carry another human being in her body. Okay? If your doctor, and I repeat, your doctor has told you that you are a high risk pregnancy, you better listen to him. You don't fast at all. You don't even try to fast. You pay the ransom. You fall in a category like the sick people of paying the ransom. So for each day of Ramadan that you're not able to fast because you are high risk, set aside money for that day. You pay the ransom. You ain't got to worry about trying to fast later after the baby is born. No, the ransom. Now, for you women that are pregnant and you are not high risk, still, it's hard carrying another soul in your body. If you want to try to fast, you try to fast. But if you get morning sickness and you have to break that fast, break the fast and pay the ransom for that day. I repeat, the ransom. For you women who are not high risk pregnancy, you attempt to fast. But if you have to break that fast due to whatever, you're sick or even a hardship from the other kids, you got 6 other children to take care of. Plus you're pregnant. You're trying to fast, but it's too much. You got to cook, you got to clean, you got to wash clothes. You know, the children are running around fighting. You know, your body is tired. Your body is fatigued. This is too much for you. Even in a case like that, you break the fast. Pregnant women, y'all understand. You break the fast. You break the fast and pay the ransom for that day. As Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, said, the pregnant women fall in the category of the sick. So any days that you have to break your fast because it's too much for you, don't make them up, you pay the ransom. High risk pregnancy, you don't even attempt to fast. Because if you attempt to fast, you're going to have a miscarriage. Women and men who have heart problems, you can have a heart attack easily. You go into strokes easily. You have cancer. You have been diagnosed with cancer. You have tuberculosis in your lung, and you an elderly person. You got to get respiratory. This is a person here. Got to be on a respiratory. Whatever that machine is they got her on. You ain't even attempting to fast. Okay? Even if you get sick with the flu, don't attempt to fast. You don't fast when you're sick. But in that case, you have to make those days up. For the person that's sick with the flu or cold, you break your fast and just keep track and make those days up later after Ramadan. But if you have a sickness that is no cure from, or it only gets worse, such as cancer, if your diabetes is so bad that you have to eat every 2 or 3 hours, some people are diabetic like that, they have to put food in their body, you don't attempt to fast. You pay ransom. If you're a person like me, I have GERD. GERD gets worse, no cure for it. I have a hole in the bottom of my esophagus. If I have a GERD attack, I have no choice but to break my fast, and I paid a ransom for that. Alhamdulillah, I made it through last Ramadan with just 2 days. Okay, hopefully this Ramadan will be good too. But if you got those incurable sicknesses like that are life-threatening, we're going to talk about that in detail. But I want this to be clear because I got some elderly knucklehead women on my website who have heart conditions. They can die. They have strokes all the time. Oh yeah, they think they're getting ready to fast. Well, if you die and stroke out, you're going to answer to Allah for suicide. Any questions on that? Walaikum salam, Brother Sadiq. How's Imam Kareem Abu Zayd? Did you go to the khutbah today? Brother Sadiq, did you listen to Kareem Abu Zayd's khutbah today? He had another brother give the khutbah. I saw. Yeah, he had another brother in there. I like Imam Kareem's khutbahs better. I can't listen to just anybody. Yeah, I can't. I can only listen to certain people. Not everybody can move my heart. Yeah, very few people I can listen to. I can listen to Sheikh Atlee. Sheikh Atlee moves my heart. Okay, but I can't listen to a lot of these other brothers. They don't do nothing for me. I mean, their khutbahs it doesn't shake me. But Kareem does. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. All right. So tonight, inshallah, since I got all my new shahadas coming in. Yeah, good job, brother. Let me turn this so you can see me. Y'all can see me on this camera. Okay. Yeah, I'm covered up. So there you go. Exactly. Okay, so I got a lot of my new shahadas here. Tonight, inshallah, I'm going to begin the Ramadan prep series, and we're going to go more into detail about the people who are exempt from fasting later on in the week. But I just wanted to make that, stress that to these sick knucklehead women who are elderly women. Y'all better not be having no plans on fasting when you know you ain't got no business fasting. Accept the fact that life, you were born to die, and you close to death, sisters. Don't even attempt to try to be no 20-year-old girl when you got heart problems. Epilepsy. Oh yeah, I got a couple of epileptics in here. Get it together. You got to be rough with these old ladies, honey. By the way, Anissa, is Anissa in there? Anissa still missing, y'all? All right. Well, let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Yeah. Yeah, I got to, Brother Bilal. Yeah, Brother Bilal. He say, Laila, you got to tell him, yeah.
I'm here, Laila, but I'm on my phone.
Are you fasting this Ramadan?
No.
Okay, there you go. Anissa knows.
Yes.
Yeah, she knows, and she's diabetic. Your other older women, y'all better follow the lead of Anissa. I keep telling you, older sisters, follow the lead of Anissa. She ain't even going to attempt to fast. She knows she don't qualify. She'll pay the ransom for each day. Okay, so here we go. This is the PowerPoint. And tonight, what I'm going to do for my new shahadas and old shahadas. Yeah, you the same way, Brother Sadiq. Yeah, it gets that way. And I've had a lot of the new shahadas. The brothers have come to me and they've said, Sister Laila, I try to listen to these other daya and I can't. They don't move me. I understand. They don't know. It's speaking is an art. there's an art. You know, I come from a family of orators, but also I went to school. I have a degree. That's my specialty in communications, mass media, journalism, you know, broadcast journalism. Barbara Walters here. So I've been trained on how to make my voice go up and down and shake the hearts. A lot of people don't have that gift, and they'll bore you just listening to their voice. And that's how I am too. I can only listen to certain, very few, only 4 people. Honestly, there's only 4 people I can listen to. Sheikh Atlee is one of them. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, he comes from a family of orators too. We're related, believe it or not. It's family of orators. Okay, so tonight, inshallah, what we're going to do is speak about why Ramadan is so special. And many of you have asked me that. What makes the month of Ramadan more special than the month of Shaban? I've had this question all month. What makes Ramadan more special than the other months? Well, we're going to talk about that. First of all, one of the things that I always say, you might have listened to my old lectures on the internet. There's no such thing as a happy new year in Islam. We don't celebrate the new year. That's not a holiday for us. The new year is just another day. And if there would have been a new year for us, our new year would have began with the month of Ramadan. But we follow a lunar calendar instead of a solar one. Why? Because Ramadan, it's the month of change. Ramadan, it's the month of new beginnings. Ramadan, it's the month of committing yourself to Allah. Ramadan, it's the month of changing the condition of yourself to that which was better than last Ramadan. So if there would have been a such holiday for us, our holiday would have been every Ramadan, the first of Ramadan. But we don't celebrate that type of stuff. But what makes this month special is, number one, this is the 1 month out of the year. I repeat, the 1 month out of the year. The only month out of the year that any good deed that you do is multiplied. It's multiplied up to 700 times or more. So every time you pray, that's multiplied up to 700 times. Anytime you say something good out of your mouth, it's multiplied up to 700 times. So it's the 1 month of the year that Allah multiplies all of our good deeds. It's also the month in which Allah is more forgiving than any other month. Allah is more forgiving during the month of Ramadan than he is during the month of Shaban, than he is during any other month of the year. Also, Ramadan is special because of the sanctity of this month. Because of how forgiving Allah is, you can raise your status up. Like I said, it's the month of change. Had there been a new year for us, it would have began Ramadan. Because this is the month of self-reflection. This is the month that we sacrifice for Allah so you can change your condition from that which is bad to that which is good. And also, it's the month for those who purify themselves to find success. This is the month to get your prayers answered. This is the month to get rewarded for all the sacrifices you made all year long. And also, what makes this month special is it's the month for those who corrupt themselves to fail. And that's something we're going to talk about over the course of this next upcoming month. For those Muslims who fail to change the condition of themselves to that which is pleasing to Allah. This is the month that they fail. Every year, right after Ramadan, those who fail experience some calamity. Last Ramadan, remember the calamities that faced this nation right after Ramadan was over? It's the month in which those who corrupt themselves fail. And we'll talk about that. And also, a lot of people ask, well, Sister Laila, since Ramadan is such a good month, then why does Allah impose fasting? Why do we have to fast? Well, there's many reasons as to why we fast. But I want you guys to ponder today the reality that fasting is one of the best ways to earn Allah's love. Why? Because it's the only thing that we can do solely for Him. When you make your salats, it doesn't entail much sacrifice. All you got to do is find a corner somewhere where people can't see you and raise your hands, Allahu Akbar, and pray. Okay? When you give in charity, all you got to do is reach in your pocket, take the money out and give it. But fasting is different because you're giving up the things you enjoy the most. We're going to spend the daylight hours forsaking food, forsaking drink, forsaking pleasure from our husbands, pleasure from our wives. We're going to give up the television. We're going to give up the Xbox. We're going to give up, reading our paranormal romance novels. We're going to give up backbiting. We're going to give up gossiping. So you're giving up the things that you normally do to please Allah. So that's how you earn Allah's love, by sacrificing Him. What have you done for me lately? That's the attitude. What have you done for Allah lately? So Allah loves for us to fast. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. He says, observing the fasting is prescribed for you, just as I prescribed it for those who came before you, so that you can become more righteous. When we give up our food and drink, we learn balance. Balance is a form of righteousness. When we put Allah before our sexual intimacy and before our television shows, this helps us to become more righteous. When we choose to read the Quran instead of listening to music, instead of watching television, this makes us a more righteous person. When we control our tongue and not say things that we normally would say when we know that they're bad, and we control our loins so that we don't do the things that we would normally do, this is sacrifice. And all of this helps us to become better people. So that's why Allah chose fasting during this month. As Allah Himself says in the interpretation of the meaning, that you fast, it is better for you if you only knew. Most of us overeat. Most of us oversleep. How many of us spend the whole day sleeping? Again, fasting. You're supposed to be spending the waking hours doing the deeds that are pleasing to Allah, to earn His love, to earn His acceptance. You don't want to squander the day away through sleep. So again, as Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning, so that you should magnify Allah for having guided you, and you may be grateful to Him. Subhanallah, Ramadan, we sit back and take a look at our accomplishments. This is the one month out of the year that we reflect upon the good things in our lives. We look at how fortunate we are that Allah chose for us to be Muslim, how our lives are better than so many others out there. You know, it's easy for us as humans to complain about what we don't have. But when we sit down and think about it, we're better off than the next Joe. Subhanallah. Okay? And again, fasting, the fact that Allah commands us to fast, this is a pillar. This is a pillar of faith, guys. Remember, we talked about how there's pillars of belief. The pillars of belief are to believe in Allah and that He's the only one worthy of worship, to believe in His angels, His books, to believe in His prophets, to believe in the Qadr, to believe in the last hour, all of that. Well, fasting is a pillar of faith. What are the articles of faith? These are the things that will keep us within that circle of Allah's protection. And Allah commands us that when it comes to fasting, we fast for a fixed number of days. And that's the month of Ramadan. As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the month can consist of 29 or 30 days. So we fast for 29 or 30 days every year. But again, Allah doesn't impose any conditions on us that we can't bear. And Allah tells us, if you're sick, and I want you elderly women to pay attention, my knuckleheads. If any of you are sick or on a journey, then you just make those days up. Say, for example, I have to travel. Let's say I have to travel to visit my sister. I don't have to fast. I'm exempt. I just keep a track of how many days that I'm going to be that I was gone and try to make them up. Or let's say I have heart issues and my doctor told me, you can't fast, Laila. You got bad heart. You have a bad, you have strokes easily. You're schizophrenic. You know, it's going to change your metabolism. Any drastic change to your metabolism is going to cause you to become chemically imbalanced. You can't fast. Okay? Then I don't fast. I simply pay the ransom if I fall in that category. I pay the money. My money is my fast. But then I can do everything else Allah commanded me to do. Spend more time reading the Quran. Spend more time teaching on my website. So even though fasting is a pillar, Allah did not make it unbearable. Some of us are exempt from it, or you may become exempt. You're fasting. You're a nurse. There's a virus going around the hospital. So you done caught a stomach virus. You're throwing up. You don't have to fast. You break your fast and make those days up later. You're a doctor. You've been treating your patients. Somebody gave you RSV. You can't fast. You break your fast and you make those days up later. So Allah made it a pillar of faith. But remember, there's always exceptions to every rule in Islam. And if you fall into the category of an exception, you better submit. It's important for you to submit to Allah and don't fast and do what He commands you to do. Because to put yourself through a hardship that make yourself sicker or make it harder on you, you done broke your commitment with Allah. And Allah doesn't like a fanatic. He hates a fanatic. He hates an extremist just as much as he hates a lazy, trifling person. So Ramadan is the month of earning Allah's love, not His anger. So what does it mean to fast? Well, the Arabic word siyam. Remember, I tell you guys all the time, Arabic is a language, not a religion. We don't worship a language. Arabic is just a language to communicate, like English is. But the difference between Arabic and English is one Arabic word like siyam can have 100 different meanings. In this case, it means to abstain or stay away from something. In Islam, it means to stay away from whatever may break your fast from dawn until sunset. That's what it is. So we don't fast the whole day. No. And we don't fast at sunrise. We fast from dawn until sunset. We fast from Fajr. When the Adhan for Fajr is pronounced, that's when we start fasting. And when the Adhan for Maghrib is pronounced, that's when we break it. And we have to have the intention. And we'll talk about that later, the intentions. And again, a lot of people might ask, well, where's the evidence that this is something that I have to do if I qualify for it? Well, Allah, again, he says in the interpretation of the meaning, oh, you who believe, if you believe in him, pay attention. Oh, you who believe, observing the fast is prescribed for you, just as it was prescribed for those who came before you, so that you can become a righteous person. You can become more conscious of Allah. You can become more fearful of his punishment. So that's the proof of its obligation. And also our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Islam. And by the way, Islam is an Arabic word. It does not mean peace. It does not mean peace. Islam is an Arabic word that means total submission to Allah. Total submission to Allah is built on 5 pillars. And among them is fasting. This is what our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said, Islam is built on 5 pillars, and among them he mentioned fasting during Ramadan. And again, for those people who qualify to fast, you cannot break your fast unless you have a justifiable reason to. For those who break their fast without a justifiable excuse, they've committed a major sin. As our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, until I was at the mountain, I heard some loud voices, and I asked, this is talking about his night journey. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was taken on his night journey, he was at a mountain and he heard some loud voices. So he asked the angels, what are those voices? And they told him, this is the howling of the people of the hellfire. And then he was taken to another place and he saw some people hanging from their hamstrings with the corners of their mouths being ripped apart and dripping blood. So he asked, who are these people? And he was told, these are the people who broke their fast before it was time to do so. So you got to be careful, guys. If you meet the criteria of fasting during Ramadan, which most of you do meet, you cannot break your fast until the Adhan for Maghrib has been pronounced. And don't walk around looking for an excuse to break your fast. Don't make up an excuse. I hear some people say, oh, I'm about to die. You know darn well you ain't dying. That's the problem with us. We overeat. Most Muslims are obese. Y'all know it's the fact. Most Muslims in the world are overweight because that's the one thing we can do is eat. So you can't go 8 hours. You can't go 8 to 10 hours without eating something. You're not going to die. So get over it. Not living here in America. Okay? But you'll hear people say, oh, I'm so thirsty. I'm so hungry. I'm about to die. Oh, girl, please. You better go on in there and keep fasting. To break your fast without a legitimate excuse is a major, major sin in Islam. Listen what Elder Hobby said. He said, among the believers, it is well established that whoever does not fast in Ramadan without a valid excuse is worse than an adulterer. He or she is worse than a drunk. In fact, that person may not even be a Muslim at all. So again, don't sit here and allow your personal jinn to pull on the left side of your brain. Remember the left brain. That's the self-serving side of the brain. The self-serving side is selfish. The self-serving brain wants to satisfy its lust, its desires. It doesn't think rationally. Do not allow your personal jinn to whisper into that left side of your heart and cause your brain to make you decide to break your fast. That's why that class with Dr. McBride is so important. And during the month of Ramadan, inshallah, he's going to keep that class going so you can gain control over your left brain. Inshallah, by the end of Ramadan, not only will you be closer to Allah, but you will have your jinn in check because you will have learned how to balance your right and left brains. Okay? And finally, listen to what Ibn Taymiyyah said. He said, if a person does not fast in Ramadan, knowing that it's haram to not fast, but he makes it lawful for himself to not fast, then that person should be killed. And if he does it because he's just a bad, immoral person, then he should be punished for not fasting. So again, fasting, this is something that we as Muslims are obligated to do. Fasting, it's an article of faith. Fasting is something that Allah has imposed upon us to make us better people, a better human being, because you're going to see what your strengths are as a Muslim. You're going to recognize what your weaknesses are. You're going to realize, wow, I overeat. I eat too much. I eat stuff that I don't need to be eating. You're going to recognize, wow, man, I got a problem with my mouth. I'm always gossiping. You're going to recognize how you're spending your time. Boy, I spend more time playing video games than I do praying, than I do reading Quran. Boy, my priorities. I spend too much time out at the mall shopping, wasting money. I mean, you're going to learn yourself. For the new shahadas, Ramadan is a wonderful way of getting to learn yourself. And all these lectures I've been giving you about the jinn, how to control your jinn, you will be able to implement it and put all this into effect now.